learn together. So today we will be solving activity 6.3.1 of class 9's English book, which is in page 89. Now, before solving this activity, we have to go through the previous discussion on which that activity is based on. So let's at first understand that what's compare and contrast essay, because we will be writing the similarities and differences of these two structures of compare and contrast essay in 6.3.1's activity basically. So okay, what is compare and contrast essay basically? Let's read out this text. Compare and contrast essay is a common type of academic essay writing topic. Compare refers to exploring similarities between subjects, while contrast means to look at their differences. A compare and contrast essay explores the similarities and differences between two subjects to have some deeper insight into the two. Okay, so look, compare and contrast essay is a type of academic essay where we will compare different aspects of a specific topic. We will compare, or we will be talking about the similarities and differences of two topics or more than two topics, right? It can be about only similarities or only differences as well, and it can be about both as well. Now, compare and contrast essay, this itself means exploring the similarities and dissimilarities, because compare means to explore the similarities and contrast means to determine the differences between different topics, right? So in a compare and contrast essay, that's what we are going to do. All right. So in a compare and contrast essay, we either compare the two subjects, contrast them, or sometimes do both. That means in a compare and contrast essay, either we will be finding out the similarities between two subjects, or we will be finding out the dissimilarities between two subjects, or we will do both. The subjects we compare in the essay are usually in the same category, although they have their differences. That means these let's say that we have selected two subjects for our essay, right? So those two subjects should be of the same category. For example, if we are talking about, for example, we are choosing virus and bacteria for writing a compare and contrast essay, right? So look, bacteria and viruses, they are of the same category because they are microscopic organisms, right? So whatever subjects we will choose, they must be of the same category. Okay, but it cannot be something totally different. You cannot write about, if you cannot write about viruses and let's say a table or a pencil. Okay, the topics, both the topics or both the subjects have to be relevant to each other, but they will have specific differences as well. For example, we can write an essay comparing two books or contrasting them, or can do both to get a clear understanding of them. Likewise, it can be two movies, two cities, and two schools. That means the category has to be the same. When we write a compare and contrast essay, we try to make connections between the two subjects that are not obvious but illustrate the subtle, surprising, and unexpected similarities and differences between these subjects. So, to write a compare and contrast essay, you need to use your observations and analytical skills to pay close attention to the issues, analyze the information, and make meaningful arguments about the issues to compare them. That means when we will be writing compare and contrast essay, for that, whatever subjects we will choose, we have to have proper knowledge about those topics or those subjects so that we can compare their features properly. Okay, now, there are basically two structures of writing a compare and contrast essay. One is the block structure, and the other one is the point by point structure. All right. So, block structure is the easier way. then point by point structure. There are basically four paragraphs in the block structure, and the first paragraph is of introduction, then the next two are the body paragraphs, and the last one is the conclusion. Okay, here basically you want to be separating each of the features of comparison separately. Okay, you will just write all the similarities of two subjects in one body paragraph, and in the next body paragraph you will write the differences of the two subjects. Whereas in the point by point structure, what you have to do basically is each point of comparison or each feature of comparison, okay, it can be a similarity or a difference, whatever it is, you have to choose one feature for one paragraph. So there can be multiple body paragraphs in the point by point structure. Look look here, I have tried to basically show you the block structure and the point by point structure of the essay in a sequence, so that it's easier for you to understand. All right, so look, in the block structure, at first there will be okay, in total there will be four paragraphs. Okay, the first paragraph will be an introduction paragraph. The next one will be the first body paragraph that will talk about the like in short the similarities of the subjects that you have chosen, and the second body paragraph will talk about the differences of the two subjects, and in last the conclusion. Right. So in the introduction, you will basically give some very normal, neutral information about the subjects that you have chosen, like what those subjects basically mean, or why you are writing about them. Okay, what's their importance, and you can also write some very you know basic points about the similarities or difference, like one or two points. It's not necessary, but if you see that there are a lot of points to talk about, then you can include one or two points in the introduction part. And in the first body paragraph and second body paragraph, you know what you have to do. And in the conclusion, you basically have to summarize all the things that you have written in the body paragraphs. All right, now the point by point structure. In this one, okay, there are no fixed number of body paragraphs. There can be multiple body paragraphs depending on what features of comparison you want to talk about. For example, if you want to talk about viruses and bacteria in your compare or contrast essay, then let's say, what are the features of comparison? It can be size, it can be their cellular structure, it can be about like how contagious they are, right? These are specific features. So in every body paragraph you have to talk about one specific feature. In that way you can have multiple body paragraphs. The number of paragraphs here is not fixed, but one thing is fixed, that there will be an introduction in the beginning, and at last there will be a conclusion. The introduction, the same, you have to describe, or you have to tell that what is your intention of writing this essay, or why are these subjects important to discuss, right? And in the body paragraphs, in the like as I said, that the first point of comparison, let's say you have to write here, look, the example, like comfort, speed, this one is actually based on the example that's given in your book. Okay, it's about the very first activity, which is this one, right? We were comparing between destinations, we were comparing between transportations. So I had given those examples on the basis of that, but you can just ignore it for now. Okay, um, all right, I will just cut it for you so that it becomes more clear. Anyways, let's skip this part, the examples for this part, so that you can understand the features, like what are the features of comparison well. And okay, so that's it. You will discuss each of the features in the body paragraphs. There can be multiple paragraphs, three, four, five, anything. And in the conclusion, you will summarize your thesis statement. Thesis statement means your topic. That means the topic or the subjects you have chosen. You will just describe it. Describe all the points of comparison. Okay. So that's it. That's the structure of writing like compare and contrast essay following two ways: block structure and point by point structure. All right. So let's see what's next. So in this passage, they have basically told you that how you should start writing a compare and contrast essay. That means, like, whatever subjects you're going to choose, at first you can make a list of the similarities and differences differently, like in a graph. And there you have to write, like, you can make a diagram, or you can just simply make a list of what are the similarities and differences, and from that list, whatever similarities and differences you are like you want to include in your essay, and any description you want to give, that one you will do finally while writing the essay. But this is just for like primarily to make a list, to keep an account of what sort of similarities and differences you will be talking about. Venn diagram, like, if you don't know what's Venn diagram, then let me tell you that it is a sort of diagram where it's easy to demonstrate the differences and similarities of two subjects. For example, here the two subjects are tomato and apple, right? So you will make two circles for tomato and apple, and both these circles will overlap in one point. Overlap means they will basically get mixed in a certain point, and in this point of overlap, or in this point of mixture, like this point, look, this much point is common, means all the points that are written in this part belong to both of the subjects, right? These are the similarities. And separately, if you want to write the dissimilarities, then you will write it in the uh, part which is not in overlap. That means in these parts. Okay, you can draw a Venn diagram for determining the similarities and differences as well, or you can make a list. All right. So here, a description about how to write an essay in block structure and how to write an essay in point by point structure is given, that I have explained to you already, right? And an example is also given. All right. So now, as I have explained these, like both of these structures, now we can determine that what are the similarities and differences between these two structures, right? And by determining that, we will fill up this table. So now let's see the answers. Here you go. Look, similarities and differences. So there are 3 points for similarities and 3 points for differences. The same thing you have to write here basically. Make sure that you are writing in a smaller font so that you can uh, fit all the things in these small box. These boxes are very small to write on, but you can also write this in your notebook if your teacher allows you to do so. All right, I think that you have done picking up this thing. So that's it. In the next video, we will complete the next activity. For today, that's all. I hope you liked the video, and if you really did, then please like, share, and subscribe. And if you need any sort of improvements in these videos, then let me know in the comment section. For today, goodbye. Let's meet you in the next video.